Reece. Gibba-dabba-dee-da-ba-dabba-doo. Oh, hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to Football Therapy, gosh darn it, with me, your host Jan. Glass is steaming up, no good. I hope you're doing well, really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News this morning, Sunday, the 11th of August, early morning in the kingdom. It's beautiful weather, the sniper's going to get me on my forehead as you can see, but hopefully I make the video. Today, we are talking about Pedro Neto signed a long deal, unsurprisingly. He'll be unveiled today at the Chelsea game. Chelsea versus Inter, 3 p.m. at Stamford Bridge. The final pre-season friendly, of course. I will do a match review. Keep it locked here. Also, what are we talking about? The Reece James hamstring. Wah, wah. Are you surprised? A little bit also on wingers being sold, because Noni Madueke still could be sold. Newcastle looking at him. He was our best attacker in pre-season. How does that make you feel? And of course, because you love it, we are going to do some X-value analysis. We did some of Sterling, surprisingly positive. We're going to look at Noni, and we're going to look at that guy, Misha Mudryk, as well, and try and figure out what we're dealing with here. In an age of uncertainty with wingers. But many people right now, if you had to start front three, you're probably going to start... Well, I'm personally starting Neto on the left, Palmer on the right. I know they want to play him inside. I'm playing him on the right. Jackson up top. And in number 8, I'm playing Fernandez. And I'm playing Nkunku. Possibly Dewsbury Hall instead of Fernandez. So anyway, we're going to get into it today. As always, thanks for joining me. Bit of housework. Thank you as always for supporting the content. I see it. So thank you very much. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, I upload all the time. So if you choose to subscribe, hit the bell. And let's get into it. Alright, mate. Starting off with Nizar Kinsella of the BBC. Saying, Pedro Neto will be introduced to Stamford Bridge tomorrow. Which is today, of course. Deal done. Done. It's a 6+1. Which is a long deal, 7 years essentially, but that will take him into his 30s. He's not a 21-year-old, he's a 24-year-old, so yeah, makes sense. It's option for an extra year. Everyone's very gassed. We don't need to talk about this much. When he does some media with Chelsea, we can reflect on that. It might even be today. We'll see what happens. Let's him before the game. Who knows? Yeah, very, very exciting. Of course, loads of people have spoken about how Reece James was already following Pedro Neto before the story. There were signs weeks ago of them like talking to each other, and yeah, exciting, bro. We've talked about it. We've looked at him on X Value. Go back and watch that video. He's got the flair, he's got the excitement, and he's got like an edge. Pedro Neto, he's got a bit of an attitude, and I like it. So let's move on and talk about the Reece James hamstring injury. Simon Johnson of The Athletic reported that he has suffered a hamstring injury this week. Apparently it's not serious, but the Chelsea staff will be careful to have Reece back in the best conditions possible when he does return from injury. Guys, this has caused a huge stir. Firstly, let's not be too dramatic immediately, because he is, of course, banned for the first 3 weeks of the competitive season, which doesn't even start for a week. So yeah, like he's got like a month to recover from a minor injury before he's even allowed to play. So if it's a minor, then he's not going to be out more than a month. That's not, It is, of course, sparking huge debate over social media. Should Chelsea sell Reece James? Firstly, who's going to buy Reece James? Look, of course, he's a world-class player, recognised. I've said it before, been saying it. We know that Man City have made gentle inquiries because they would love him to replace Kyle Walker and be the long-term successor for Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker himself has named Reece James as the best right-back in the world. That's not called Kyle Walker, which is obviously huge praise. We know Real Madrid have long had an interest in Reece James. He's got a bit of a bromance with Vinny Jr. Of course, they've got Carvajal. They're looking at Chimpong, of course, the young Chelsea right back, reportedly. So he has got like the biggest clubs in the world courting him, and game recognises game. This guy obviously tore up in the Champions League when we won it. He's still young. He's strong. He's positionally versatile, and when he's on the pitch, he transforms Chelsea. It's easy to forget that. It is. Like, we all saw Gusto, and Gusto playing well playing well at right back or whenever right wing back or whatever formation we're in at the time. Now you see Gusto and you're like, yeah, putting in crosses, being one of the better players on the pitch, didn't cost much money, is very young. Oh my God, Malo Gusto, rightly holding that position, that sort of. And by the way, we'll look at on the different videos the X-value stats of Reece James and then Malo Gusto. So do keep it locked because bringing you some premium statistical content now. But but when Reece James is on the pitch and he's fit and firing, he's not just, oh, that guy looks good. He's transformative. And to be a transformative player at right back is massive. The thing is, though, like, you need to be on the pitch. I get it. But who's going to buy a player that they hit? That people might be thinking, people outside of Chelsea, heck, people inside of Chelsea might be thinking, this could be it. This could be it. I know he's young, but like maybe his legs aren't going to work properly again. You know, maybe his hamstrings just don't have the juice to be okay, which is terribly sad. A terribly sad thought. But I know there has to be that concern. That's why people were thinking, right, the inverted right back role suits him. He's not got to fly up and down, or even not the inverted, because neither of the fullbacks tend to hold the width for Maresca. One inverts and one most of the time tucks in to create a back three. So he could be the tucking in back three one. Cucurella can invert to midfield. It seems perfect for both of them for different reasons. Perfect for Cucurella because he's shown he can do it under Poch last season really well. Perfect for Reece James because although Reece offers so much going forwards, he still had elite performances in the right centre back role at the back as in a back three. Not that he's done it recently, but he's still coming back. So in theory it's great, but who's going to drop the money that will be required to sell Reece James, our current captain? Who I have questions about certain elements of his captaincy, but apparently he's still doing things. He's still, he helps navigate the Enzo Fernandez situation. We know he plays agent with a lot of players, like probably Pedro Neto being the latest. And he's a good guy. Do you know what I mean? But it is worrying. I feel like in terms of grace and in terms of I give him loads, I give him. You might think that's harsh on Gallagher because he's done nothing wrong and he did his loans and train hard. I think Reece James is a much better player than Conor Gallagher. I know Mason Mount was at Chelsea for ages, Trevoh Chalobah and the rest, but there's something about Reece James. Reece James is a Chelsea fan. Mason Mount was he's a Pompey fan, but Reece James picks up the shirt and bites the badge. The way he loves Chelsea is he just gets immense amounts of leniency for me. But one has to be concerned. This will, one way or another, make no bones about it, this will be the decisive season for Reece James. If he doesn't play all season again, serious ones have to be had. Alrighty then, we are going to talk wingers, of course. Fabrizio Romano on his podcast, Here We Go podcast, spoke about Noni Madueke. He says, if a good proposal comes in, the situation could become open. Madueke is not out of the project. Well, he's part of Project 2030, isn't he? And he's playing quite well. But in case of a good proposal, things could become open. And Newcastle, of course, have been showing interest for weeks. And we've even, I reacted here on the channel to the story that he's already agreed personal terms with Newcastle. To go play for them, and they're trending in the right direction. That could be a good move for him. Again, firstly, these players coming to Chelsea, it represents an intelligent move for all of them. Even if they don't get to be Chelsea players or whatever, it's a good move because they're all getting the highlight. They're all they get good money, financial security off the bat. They get properly shop windowed, which is distasteful and it's not what you want your club to be. But, everyone who's recently come and maybe gone straight away or this, that, and the other, they're all being talked about. They're all high profiles, and they're probably all being recognised and investigated more than they would have been when we originally picked them up. Cassidy from Inter's Academy, Santos from South America, and Gabriel, and, Datro Fofana. He could get a move to a Premier League team in Leicester. He was playing for Mulder. Do you know what I mean? So people can think it's sad, but all of them coming to Chelsea would probably represent an important career step. So it's not like Chelsea are ruining careers and wasting money. This is what a lot of the plan is. And again, I'm not endorsing this particular part of the plan, unless it does build us a Galactico team and we win Premier Leagues, and I'll say, okay, do your thing. But this was always a plan, the portfolio of players. And as The Athletic reported a long time ago, even a year ago, everyone's for sale. Maybe a couple aren't. We know Levi Colwill, they have absolutely dug their heels in for no no fee whatsoever. You'd like to hope the same for Cole Palmer. There was briefings to the Telegraph that Chelsea want him to become an icon and be at the club for a decade and get all these pay rises. But sort of everyone in between that's quite good but not untouchable is for sale. And that includes Noni Madueke, who, you know, his value is very high right now. Chelsea could see him as making an instant profit on him, even though he costs quite a lot of money. He costs like 28 million pounds. Chelsea will be thinking they might be able to, you know, get 40 million out of Newcastle for this guy who's in great form in terms of pre-season and has shown he can score, you know, Premier League goals against Man City, or was it in the Premier League or a cup? I can't remember. But, you know, he's got it in him to be, and he's got great self-belief and availability and injury record, Noni. So, look, we know the deal with Sterling. We spoke about him yesterday. The links to Juventus. If you haven't watched that video about Juventus looking at Sterling, I'd urge you to go and watch it. I believe it's my previous upload to this one, so Saturday upload. But I do want to speak about, you know, Madueke and Mudryk and look at their stats a little bit. And I'm going to start with, let's start with both of them. I'm going to show you X-Value. Let me make sure I'm just on the right overview page for both of them. Because I think it's important, because Mudryk, the streets do not have, Mudryk does not have the streets at the moment. I think I said, like, will he make it at Chelsea on a poll on Football Therapy, and it was like 80% no or 75% no, and it was like, you know, thousands and thousands of people. So this is Mudryk on X-Value. He's been listed as 100% of a 1-to-1 explorer in terms of his profile. As you can see on his performance spider chart, it is very strong in the metrics he's good at. His carries are amazing, shooting pretty strong, assisting pretty strong, passing pretty strong, bad at aerials, bad at recovery, so work rate not there. And as you can see on his heat map, very much predominantly a left-sided player, a left winger. As you can see, he's right-footed. Oh, you can't see. He's right-footed. He's quite light. Maybe I'm just quite heavy. Right-footed, and he's 23 years old. Doesn't turn 24 till January, it looks like there. So that is Misha Mudryk. Let's quickly jump over to Noni Madueke. Now, he's the opposite. He's predominantly a right winger, very much that right. He likes to get right to the byline, as you can see. Look at his spider chart. Like, his carries. Is he better than Mudryk, I think? That's Mudryk. No, they're both very, very strong at dribbling. Very strong at dribbling. Not as strong his performance spider chart, but he's also being listed as a 1-to-1 explorer. This is Noni here, 99.9, with a 0.1% chance creator. Key metrics for Noni Madueke: open play crosses, cutbacks, dribbles, and open to 1-2s opened. And then Mudryk, it's pretty much the same, but his cutbacks are way stronger. And then the dribbles from Noni are stronger. So that is interesting. Also show first. So I'm going to go to advanced stats now on both these players. Okay. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. It's so much easier when I'm doing one player at a time, but I want to compare them. Right, so this is Mudryk from last season. We're looking at his stats per 90 here. So shooting, he's in the 81st percentile, which isn't awful. Actually, he's at non-penalties, the 82nd. It's not awful. As you can see, his polar chart here isn't that strong. Successful cutbacks, expected threat, quite high, but nothing crazy here. Chance creation, 89th percentile. That's pretty strong, actually, his chance creation. And interestingly, in progression here, his expected threat and his expected threat from carries is very high. Top 3%, top 2%. Now, expected threat essentially quantifies how much he's helping the attack, you know, and he is that guy. You give him the ball down the flank, he runs at you, he's dribbling, people don't know what he's going to do. Like, he's not a player. Like, if Sterling gets the ball, you're sort of like, right, we can sort of work Sterling out here. But Mudryk, he'll screw himself over by putting it in row Z or doing something silly. But when he's got the ball, he's got this crazy, like, you know, unknown quantity that he's just this sort of high octane, unreadable player, you know. So Noni Madueke, let's just do his stats per 90 as well here. So let's just compare directly. Okay, Mudryk, XG, that's a non-penalty XG, 82. Noni, non-penalty XG, 76. Lower, okay. Chance creation, Mudryk, here we are. 89th percentile. Chance creation, 88th percentile from Noni. So Mudryk's actually higher in his expected goals and his expected assists. Now, I'm going to go back to expected threat. 97 for Mudryk. 97 for Mudryk, and 98 from carries. Noni, 96, 99 from carries. So I feel like Noni's slightly a better dribbler, but in terms of like general threat, it does look like Mudryk edges it in terms of offering expected threat, like goals and assists. So he just about edges it, which is interesting. I do want to quickly, I'm going to quickly prepare something now and look at the AI assistant, because I think that that will be really interesting indeed to see how essentially it breaks down them as a player profile. So I'm just going to get this ready now, one sec. Alright, so I've asked the AI for a player report on both Mudryk and Madueke. I'm just going to read you, hold on, the conclusions for both players. So this is Mykhailo Mudryk, as you can see here. Let's start here. Overall, Mykhailo Mudryk has had a productive season with Chelsea, showcasing his strengths as a one-to-one explorer. His dribbling, ball progression, and ability to enter the penalty area are his standout features, making him a valuable asset in the attacking third. While his scoring attempts and crossing accuracy could be improved, big time, both of those, his shot selection and chance creation are commendable. Mudryk's performance aligns with his cluster profile, and some refinements, he has potential to be an even more impactful player for Chelsea. Yeah, so none of that really is going to shock you, that he's got good ball progression, he's got good dribbling, and yeah, his scoring, his accuracy for assists and scoring actually could be improved. But his shot selection and chance creation are commendable, which shows he's got the instincts when he tries to execute certain things sometimes. But he makes a lot. He knows what he should do to get through sometimes, which shows it's there. He's got speed, he's got power, and he's got instincts. But everything else, his accuracy to execute is low. This is Noni Madueke, so I'm going to look at his conclusion now as well, which should be interesting. Noni Madueke has had a productive season with Chelsea, and he's also a one-to-one explorer in terms of his stats cluster. His high volume of dribbles and progressive carries highlight his ability to create chances through individual skill and ball advancement, which I think is really interesting. It's not like Mudryk knowing what he should do to combine well. Noni is like, okay, the team's not working here. Let Noni vibes it. Give him the ball, let him dribble, and just do what he wants, which is a little bit like, you know, just Eden Hazard and hope, but you know, it's too much for Noni Madueke. While his shot selection may not always be optimal, there you go. So Mudryk's good at shot selection, Noni isn't. His finishing ability is exceptional, contributing to significantly to his goal tally. Contributes to his goal tally. He's scored a few, blinders, Noni, hasn't he? So it showed he has got it. His chance creation stats are solid, and his dribbling effectiveness is among the best in the league. Yeah, he is an amazing dribbler. Overall, Madueke's performances this season, this is his last campaign, has been a valuable asset to Chelsea's attacking play, showing his potential as a dynamic and creative wide player. So they're very, very different. Mudryk looks like if he could sort his everything out in terms of like his executing instruction and executing the moves that he wants to, he could be an amazing team player. Noni's a little bit more like the system's failing, give it to vibes, man. But there is a really we know Mudryk can. Do you remember that goal he scored last preseason where he did combine with Jackson, did the 1-2 and just absolutely banged it? You'll see, I feel like there's the capacity to see better combinational goals from Mykhailo Mudryk, and there's more capacity to see better individual goals from Noni Madueke. And it's great to have a player that can do individual goals. I feel like someone like Cole Palmer can do both, and we'll save it for another video now because I'm running deep, but we'll do a stats dive on Cole Palmer as well. I reckon Cole Palmer's X value stats are insane, so we can save that for another day. Yeah, man, let me know what you think. Please do leave your comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I will be back later, either when they announce Neto, or I'll definitely do a match review for the Inter game. Hopefully we get a win. Ruddy need it. Yeah, man, and I'll see you back here soon, hopefully. Peace.